Perfect. Well, why don't we get started? Welcome to our Family Business slash Entrepreneur Friday program. We have two amazing individuals. We're particularly, they're like part of the family because they participate in our Veterans Launching Ventures program, and they are incredible success stories. So we have Mike Ferraro and Joey MacDizon. Welcome, Mike, Joey, how are you?
Doing wonderful.
Excellent, excellent, good. Well, as always, I'm going to go through, we have some new people on the program who may not know what Rothman is, and just want to kind of go and give an introduction. Excuse me. Our mission is to support, promote, and research entrepreneurship with a special focus on family, veteran, and we're really adding urban businesses going forward. And so we wouldn't exist without our major sponsors. We have a number of others, but these are our major sponsors: TD Bank Charitable Foundation, Provident Bank, and the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey. Tony Russo may join us later, the president of the organization. One of the things that we're very, very proud of is the fourth week in October is what we call Family Business Week. And as you know, American Express and other companies have done a small business program, but our focus is really supporting family businesses of all types around the world, not only during that week, but throughout the year. And so you can find more information on familybusinessweek.com on our website. One of the things that I've been proud of, and I have to thank Mike Ferraro for getting me involved with doing a TV show. I appeared on his show many moons ago, and talked to the owner of the studio and said, hey, we want to do a family business show. So I do a program called Family Business World, and now I'm doing another one called Entrepreneur State of Mind, which are seen on Roku TV or rvntv.tv. What we're highlighting today is a program that we call Veterans Launching Ventures. It's about 12 years old. Joey Mack and Mike are both graduates of the program, and we're going to hear more about the amazing things that they've done and why they entered the program and how the program could be beneficial to other folks. So we'll save some discussion of that until a little later. But if you want to see more about it, you can go to veteranbusinessworld.com. We also have our website, the Rothman Institute of Entrepreneurship. Our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you put in Rothman Institute of Entrepreneurship, we have many of our videos and programs. This is being recorded now. So you can go to that YouTube channel and find this recording as well as our other Friday recordings. Just some amazing stuff. We have amazing people like Joey and Mike who've said some incredible things. So it's really a classroom on YouTube. These are one of our pride programs is our Family Business of the Year award. And so we're actually looking for nominations of the best family businesses in New Jersey. We now have a category called New Family Business of the Year. Laura Mashtaler from Black Swan Espresso won that. We have a Family Business of the Year whose self-reported sales are under 10 million. Dennis Makula of Makula Contracting. And then finally, our Family Business of the Year with revenues over 10 million, Norwalt Design, Mike Seitel. And so we're hoping that maybe one of the people who are watching now will be the Family Business of the Year. We also have started a program called Entrepreneur Zones, and we got the legislation, and I'm actually chairing a committee with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. The whole idea is to go into economically challenged communities and begin to use entrepreneurship as an anchor. And my hope is there'll be some veteran businesses and others. And right now, our target is Trenton, likely Atlantic City, Patterson, but we're also talking to Tulsa and Philadelphia and Atlanta and a few other places to really make entrepreneurship, which is really the backbone of America, the foundation of economic revitalization for communities. We've written a number of different articles. So we're happy to share some if people are interested. And one of the things that we are doing now is we're going to have a coaching program and a book I wrote called Intelligent Influence and creating this concept called Coach Leader. And the leadership, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you have a big business, is really understanding that it's not about command and control. It's really about coaching and supporting and mentoring, not only the people that work for you, but your customers and clients. And so you'll hear more and more about this. this idea of coach leadership and understanding that we're all products of our influence. And so today we're going to hear from Joey and Mike about their influences, about what helped them become successful, and about what they've been doing to really take both of their businesses to the next level. So without further ado, I would like to welcome them again. And Joey, who went through the VLV, I think in 2017, why don't we start with you, and we'll bounce back and forth. So tell me a little bit about why you decided to do Veterans Launching Ventures, and what branch of service did you serve, and just kind of introduce yourself.
Yep. Thank you so much, Dale. Hello, everyone. My name is Joey Mack, aka the Smoking Panda, co-founder and CEO of the Mobil Cigar Lounge. So I served in the United States Marine Corps for 6 years, from 2005 to 2011. We went to Iraq in 08-09. So a little bit why we wanted to join the VLV program. For me, it was all about the coaching. I've always played sports, or I did music during my high school and college years. And so VLV was a great place to be able to be linked up with mentors, linked up with professionals, and also professionals in that area that could be able to help me grow my business. So since then, since 2017, a great fun fact is I didn't go to VLV. I opened up another nonprofit during VLV, but as I took the same template and basically switched things around and turned it into what we now know as the Mobil Cigar Lounge. So VLV has not only grown one business, but two businesses out of it because of the 10 weeks that I've learned through learning entrepreneurship and business as well. So Dale, thank you so much again. I'm so happy to be here, very honored. And we're looking to talk about smokes, business, and maybe some whiskey afterwards. So thank you, everybody.
All right, good stuff. And so Alan Leviton, who really brings together many of those coaches, said, "Go Joey." So Mike, what about you? And you are a recent grad, 2020. And what prompted you to kind of jump into the VLV program?
Well, I've been running Bridging the Gap for Veterans for about almost 6 years now, and coaching. That's why when you said coach leadership, I loved it. Being an educator and an advocate for veterans to get jobs in employment, and so we were able to help a lot of veterans and military family members. But what really motivated me to get involved with VLV was you have the best program that I've seen across the country that really targets exactly how to write a business plan that is on point. And not only if you're looking for funding that you can get past those gates, but also the mentorship. And so when I found those three pieces, I said, that's the one I want to be involved with. And of course, Dale was running it. So I had to jump on it because I like the leadership and the people like Susan and Martha and all the other folks that you have at FDU. It really does make a difference.
Well, and so for those that don't know, we have a number of veteran VLV alum. And so the Veterans Launching Ventures program is, again, as I said, started about 12 years ago. The idea is to take veterans or their immediate family members who have a business idea and really take them through all of the aspects of developing a business plan. And so everything from marketing to finance to writing the plan to presentations and other things. And it's evolved over the years. We now have Shakti Kunz, who is really helping to lead the program. And we've really adjusted it based on the needs of the students. But it really is, the backbone of it is these extraordinary coaches that we have who have their own incredible business experience and who really become not only mentors, but almost as boards of director members, and really help to support and encourage and guide people through the process. So I want to hear a little more about Mike. So, I met you, you're doing Bridging the Gap. You did an amazing job of helping like 600 plus veterans find jobs. Mike, tell me a little bit about that program.
So that program is truly a coaching program, career coaching. And so we go on military installations and we teach for 4 hours, 2 hours of career tactics, techniques, and procedures on how to find a job. So we educate you how to go out there and use LinkedIn and get what a good resume is like. And so it's under this program called Ignite that I created, an acronym. And then we bring in about 15 or 20 companies and we speed interview at the same time. So for 4 hours, you're walking out of there talking to 20 companies, hopefully that you have 3 or 4 interviews the following week to get a job. So bridging the gap is like this grassroots level to do that. And so we started going around the country and doing that at different military installations and helping thousands of people get a door open. And then we're roughly about 625 people now getting jobs through our program. So it's really taken off very, very well.
Wonderful. And so Joey, let's go back a little more about the nonprofit. What was the nonprofit that you started, and how did you transition to the Mobil Cigar Lounge?
Yeah, so the nonprofit that we started back in 2017 was called Mission Transition. We're actually thinking about putting it as a nonprofit arm for our for-profit business for the Mobil Cigar Lounge. But that Mission Transition was basically taking veterans and putting them into the private security space, where we took veterans and who wanted to do armed security or executive protection. So we sent a couple guys over to Israel to do some private contracting. We've sent some guys to training, and there's a couple guys right now still on the job. So from there, going from the nonprofit arm to the for-profit arm, we're looking to take Mission Transition and hopefully put it under the umbrella of the Mobil Cigar Lounge so that we can fund it and get guys some jobs as well. And working with people just like Mike and all the lovely people at FDU, it's just a great connector of why VLV is such an awesome program.
So that the organization, you're still working with the nonprofit organization, you're still doing stuff.
Yeah, we're still doing stuff, not as much as we'd like, just because of COVID and all that stuff. But we are still doing a little funding into there. So, but as of right now, my baby is the Mobil Cigar Lounge.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. So now, are you gonna get 501c3? Are you gonna apply for 501c3 status or
Mission
nonprofit?
Yeah, Mission Transition is already a 501c3 nonprofit.
It's already.
Yeah, so it already is. So that whole process through VLV is pretty much, we just took the idea, put everything that we wanted and put it in a format, like creating that plan, that action plan, and just execute from there. But yeah, we are 501c3 recognized, and we do have our paperwork, as they say, for all that stuff. So yeah, that's good to go.
What's that? See, that's brilliant. I mean, I have to say to a lot of small businesses that you often should think about partnering or aligning or even starting your own nonprofit 501c3, especially when you're in the people business, because the nonprofit can train people, not at your expense, and then you can identify the best people and hire them. So it's a wonderful way to help people and actually find the best employees. So Mike, going back to you, let's talk about what you're doing now. You're in stores and it's growing, and how did this idea start, and who was your first client?
So it all started about 2019, November 2019, with the idea of, how do I get sustainable, predictable income as a nonprofit so that I don't have to keep begging for, corporations for grants and doing golf outings and so forth. And so I thought about it, and I said, I did have in the past in my life, I was an investor in a coffee business. And so I said, maybe that's the way to go. So I did talk to the IRS. I did talk to other mentors as well, and say, I have an idea of using coffee to get companies to help them find veterans. And then the give back would be buying the coffee from us and then donating that coffee to a military unit to say thank you every month for your service. So for a very nominal fee, we got them corporations to join Adopt a Coffee Platoon, which, like I mentioned, would buy our coffee. We would help them find veterans. And then we would donate that coffee in the name of that company to like a Marine unit or a Coast Guard unit or whatever. Well, that started November 2019. The pandemic, our first deliveries were not until January of 2020. The pandemic hits. And then, the career side goes down because no one was hiring at that point. A lot of corporations put everything on hold, as we all know. But the companies wanted to do something to say thank you to frontline workers, to first responders, to military. So we had advanced our Adopt a Coffee Platoon to all those companies. Several hundred companies got involved doing that. Companies like, from Bristol Myers to J&J and so forth, big names. Got involved to small companies, and they would donate coffee. For instance, with Marta Quinn, she's on, we donated coffee from one company over at Fort Monmouth to Habcor, so they can help have coffee over there to support their veterans programs that they have for homelessness. So then during that time frame, from March to September, I met through relationships, some business people want to introduce me to supermarkets. But I knew, though, that I needed to really get my act together. And this is where the VLV came in. I needed to be more focused on exactly what I was articulating to what I wanted to do. And so by going through that process of the VLV and getting my business plan really tight, high and tight, I was able to then go to that first supermarket, the Food Towns, in around June, late May, because then at that point I was educated and really ready to go. And I got their attention. And so September, we started in 5 food towns in Monmouth County. And we were very articulate in what we were trying to do. And then before you know it, I'm now glad to say I'm in 80 supermarkets. I'm currently in 47 supermarkets. We just got this past week 33 more with Saker supermarkets. So it's only been 10 months since September of last year. And so we're really kicking it. But it was because we were articulate in what we were trying to achieve.
Well, we're gonna unpack that some more. I want to go back to Joey and so let's the Mobile Cigar Lounge. So all right, you're doing the nonprofit, you're doing good stuff. Where did you get the idea from? How did that start?
So for me, I really loved. So one of my classmates and good friends that went through VLV, he wanted to start a food truck. So he ended up starting a food truck down in Miami, and I went down to Miami. Was that 4 years ago? And I really love the whole mobile aspect of not having a traditional brick and mortar and just going to events. So a year later, that's when I really loved cigars. For me, smoking cigars was about the camaraderie. It was about smoke them if you got them. And what I tell people, I wish I could remember the first cigar I smoked, but I'll always remember the people I smoked it with. So smoking with my brothers and sisters, smoke them if you got them, for those within the military, forming those school circles of just either smoking cigarettes or smoking cigars. You know what? That was a place where we could just be ourselves a little bit and kind of unwind. And that's how we do it. We do a lot of weddings and private parties. So just being mobile, I saw Marta's question about where we go in Egypt. We go everywhere. Fun fact, I'm currently in Miami. We'll talk about it later. So I'm currently expanding down in Miami, but I've traveled to Las Vegas this year, Kentucky Derby. So I'm traveling to really cool places, but we go anywhere in the New Jersey, tri-state area. We're going to Pittsburgh, as far north as Vermont. So it's been really, really fun.
Is it the same, just one truck? You have multiple trucks?
No, so I just have one. It's a 1973 Airstream that we're currently renovating. It's an Excel 500. It's about 32 feet. That should be coming out in fall. But everyone else, we have about like 15 people work part-time with us, and almost 2 full-timers that will be coming on board. But we travel to like weddings. We just set up a 5-foot table. We decorate it and we just start, lighting up cigars. So that's why we can do multiple events. Yeah. So we have one truck unit, but we could do about like 10 to 12 events in a day's time.
In a day's time.
Yep.
Wow. So we'll unpack that a little more. So Mike, I want to, that's pretty incredible. 80 stores, it's not like it's any year in the midst of a pandemic.
No.
And then Joey's done, you'll hear 200 events, and you guys are just examples of, so what's the secret? You're advising somebody, say you're a coach in the VLV, and I want to get into the coffee business. What have you learned doing this? How were you able to do that?
So one of the biggest things I've learned is, of course, we all know it's about relationships, but it's also about what the product that you have. I have a product, it could be a service, but the product that you have, if it's something that company is going to bite into, something that would say to them, I want to be involved with what you're doing, if there's an impact. So for me, it was a local impact to the community, because we're helping military with our Bridging the Gap Career Academy, with Back to Blue law enforcement scholarships, and funding service dogs. So when they found out about what our mission focus was, these stores said, we want to be involved with that because you're impacting the community. So that was the purpose. I think if you go to an organization with a purpose, maybe it's a community outreach or some kind of way that corporation would want to join forces with you. I think that's the key thing is get that buy-in. And for me, it was community outreach and local impact.
Well, one of the things in the book Intelligent Influence that I always talk about maximizing influence. And so every successful relationship, whether you're selling or whether your spouse, has three elements. One is credibility. You've got to be credible.
Yep.
The second is creativity. You've got to be interesting. You've got to get in their mind's eye. But the third, and people miss that, is connection. You have to connect with their influences. And so you have the credibility from your coffee's really good. You have creativity. Nobody's done this coffee platoon, but you connect emotionally with them, because they want to help veterans. They want to help the community.
Correct.
So I can see why you've done that. And so I want to unpack that some more. So now, Joey, you told me before we started, 200 events last year. How did you do that in the midst of a pandemic?
That's correct. That's going through our military training. Listening to Mike's story and what he's doing, that's exactly why we did the VLV. It's because finding a way to, we don't just see problems, we just see challenges. And there might be these blocks or these walls ahead of us, but because of our military training, our leadership, and our resiliency, and our way to plan properly, I think that's what made us successful. So during the pandemic, when March and April were pretty rough, let's just say that. But then when they said, hey, parties under 25 are allowed to happen, most of my business was meant for weddings, weddings and these huge parties of 100, 200 people. So when they said 25 and under, we didn't have any experiences under 25, but guess what? We did, and we created them. And during that time, when Mike was said building relationships, I built a lot of great relationships. I'm new to the wedding industry. New Jersey in 2019 had 47,000 weddings. The average cost of a wedding is $37,000. We're the third largest and most expensive state to do weddings. So this is a pretty great market. But in 2020 it was totally different. But I reached out to a lot of my other wedding professionals, asked how they were doing. But the second most business that we get are referrals. So during that time of building relationships, kind of planning it and reap what you sow, exactly what we see now for 2021. So right now we're about 370 events right now on the calendar. We're probably going to end this year, and we're in, May? We're in May right now. We're probably going to end off with close to 400 to 450 events by the end of this year.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That is really amazing. That is amazing. And so I'm going to go back to Mike because I want to make sure that we hear. But Joey, I'm going to ask you about, paint the picture of what the environment looks like. That those, what is it, at a wedding, what do you do, and so on. I'll ask you. I'll ask you after. Let me go back to Mike, and then So Mike, so some of the major stores, where can we get, if we're in New Jersey, where can we get, some of your coffee?
So in 10 months, we've become a tri-state coffee supplier. We have two roasters. One's in Bricktown, New Jersey. One's in Hoboken. So we have two locations. I'm looking for a third, probably in the Pennsauken area, all because of area, regional area. We go as far west as Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, a shop right over there, Yardley, Pennsylvania. Far north is Stony Point, near West Point, in Rockland County. And so we're in the Insera, we're in Kalolio, we're in Ravitz, we're in Kular, Saker, Perlmutter, and we're growing. And so what's happened is the Wakefern system has about 50 different owners of ShopRites. And so we're blessed now to have 5 or 6 owners within New Jersey. And so our goal is to get all of New Jersey. There's 1,400 supermarkets in New Jersey alone. I mean, that's just unbelievable. But that's your Acme's, your ShopRites, and so forth. But so we have a business plan now in the next 5 years to get up to, we want to get 500 stores in the next 5 years. And so we're building a roadmap now for that. So I'm now, in those stores, and it's selling well, and we're restocking every 2 to 3 weeks. We have direct relationships with the grocery managers there, store managers. And so now we're doing promotions. Now that, supermarkets can do certain things, we're handing out samples. We'll have sample tables where people could try our coffee as well. And so yeah, it's taken off like I never dreamed. And we're just getting started.
Well, Mike, I'm going to ask you, I want to go back to Joey, but I'm going to ask you about cash flow. I mean, it's becoming a major operation, and that sometimes chokes small businesses. So Joey, paint the picture. Okay, so for those of us that haven't been on a Mobil cigar lounge, what happens? You're at a wedding, you're at the reception. How does it work? What goes on?
So Dale, I'll do it quick like this. Say you're getting married. I don't know if you're married or not, but let's say you're getting married, right? I love telling couples, I want your last 2 hours of your wedding. And here's the reason why. The formalities are pretty much over. Cutting cake is over. People are dancing, or, let's do pre-COVID style. People are dancing, having good times. What you call Venetian hour or dessert hour, where you have the coffee, desserts. Listen, you come outside and there's a cigar roller there, rolling cigars. So then we come up to the table. So all our team members are either veterans or first responders. Why not these awesome people that really understand what life is all about? So when you go out there, all of them drink, all of them smoke. So you come out, they're interactive, and you come up to the table, Dale, and they'll take care of you. Hey, Dale, how's it going? Congratulations. Let's light up a smoke for your honor. Because when you think about cigars, you think of honor, you think of traditions, you think of celebration. So lighting up the cigar for us is just the vessel. The opportunity is that experience. And Dale, whether you smoke cigars or not, I assure you that you'll always remember that moment. I meet so many people that, hey, listen, I don't smoke, but the last time I smoked was at my man Dale's wedding, was at the Caldwell's wedding. I might never smoke ever again. So that's why I truly love about cigars and fine spirits and whiskeys. It's about grabbing that experience. And so people might think that I'm in the cigar business. I tell them that's a little bit of what I do. What I'm there is to create experiences and turn them into unforgettable memories. So I hope yourself, Dale, painting that picture, but nothing feels good and you can check it out on Instagram. Nothing feels great about by the end of the night, when everything's all set, and some of us has been married or went through that process, it's a long day. But you know what? When you go outside with your boys, with your girls, and especially in New Jersey, where you get these beautiful venues that have these nice terraces, nice patios, you all cut a cigar, you go light one up, and you just go let it all in. So hopefully I painted that picture well.
I'm sitting there, Sue and Maura, maybe we need to have one after each of these shows, to go out and have the lounge there. So Mike, so often businesses think, okay, well, I need to sell 1 million of my product, but that could be the worst thing that ever happens. Your success could choke off the revenue and so on. How were you able to finance this? How were you able to make this happen?
Well, I keep in mind, been a nonprofit for a little while. So we were getting corporate donations, for many years. And so some of our biggest sponsors like Prudential provides us a very well amount of financial grant. Quick Check, the convenience store. We've been so blessed to have them as partners with us. We're the charity of choice for their golf outing this year. So that's another one, second year in a row. So we have companies that have been supporting us. So we were able to at least have a cushion, a foundation of revenue to do what we wanted to do. But one of the things that I do recommend is for what we do with the product is we use QuickBooks. So we can see where all our money's going. We see our profit that's coming in, from managing everything that we do as a nonprofit, as far as the cost of goods sold, for instance, to learn all these new terms that you never get really involved with. Case management, how many cases I have on hand. I can go into QuickBooks Commerce and figure all the supply chain out immediately on my tippy toes. Also, I can get metrics. So the flow of money. I'm also dealing with major corporations like ShopRite that pay every 30 to 45 days. So you got to get into that battle rhythm of making sure that of the follow-up of accounts payable. So all these things that I was new to, but I've become, not an expert, but I'm getting better at managing all that. I do have a CPA. I do have a board that has a wealth of experience from legal to other business areas to give me advice. And so that's one reason why we went with the QuickBooks Commerce. We down selected that. But you can get choked very easily if you're not managing it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, the old story of people are selling a product. They start a business, they're selling a product, and they're losing a penny on each product. And the more they sell, the more they lose. They don't realize that you've got to do that. But two things, kind of building on what Joey was saying, is where you guys see problems. I mean, where other people see problems, you see opportunities, both of you, and you're both incredibly positive. You know, knowing you, I mean, you're incredibly positive. And really the successful entrepreneurs that I meet are the ones that are just positive. Life is good. I'm doing this. It's a setback. And you know, and so Joey, have you always been that positive? Have you always had that positive attitude, that can-do attitude since you were a kid?
Dale, absolutely. And I think it's all about, you know, I credit a lot to my mom who took me a lot to traveling, especially when I was young. So, you know, being from the Philippines, you could be in different areas where it's just, you know, there's different parts of the country in the Philippines that are living in poverty, and going into Iraq in 08, 09, and just seeing parts of people's life. And let me tell you, I mean, we got it good right now. So I'm always positive, because I could think it could be so much worse. And when I have that positive attitude, and you count your blessings every day, and you make sure that you kind of think about to yourself of, hey, listen, I could be somewhere else, right? I'm in Miami right now. I'm not in Iraq. I'm not wearing full body armor. You know, I just had a really nice breakfast. Like, life is good. And I think having that positive mental attitude, and what we talk about that resiliency, I think is why a lot of veteran entrepreneurs are very successful in their field. So for me, being positive, I credit a lot to my family and my experience. But yeah, definitely.
And I think serving in the military teaches you a discipline that is so critical to business success, that you have that. And so, Mike, I don't know if we heard your extensive military background. Say a little bit about your military background.
Well, I kept screwing up. I kept keep getting promoted when I was in the military, so I never left. I spent 32 years both active duty and reserve for the Air Force, and so I started as an aircraft mechanic, and worked my way up to a command chief master sergeant, which is like a command sergeant major equivalent, overseeing about 28,000 airmen before I left. And so they gave me the honor and privilege.
28,000?
That's it. Yeah, that's all I can handle. So I said, I was really at a strategic level working for a 2-star general, and I saw the best of the best that was out there across 18 different bases. And I knew I had a passion when I got out in 2013 that I wanted to serve in a different way and serve others. And that's why I opened up Bridging the Gap, because I wanted to help other people achieve success. And I've been getting it back tenfold, because every time someone tells me they got a job because they use our program, or they like their resume from us, or whatever it may be, it's like another log in the fire for me to keep doing what I'm doing. And now that we have the Bridging the Gap Career Academy, and we're helping people that way with, you know, offering a scholarship program as well, and helping people in law enforcement and funding service dog programs, it just gives me more, that aperture is wider now, but it gives me more passion to do what I do. And I'm truly blessed to be working with people that are joining my company now that are military as well, military family members. And so we're hiring veterans to be merchandisers, to go and also get involved with the ShopRites.
Wonderful, wonderful. And both of you, have a passion for giving back. And I see, Marta Quinn here from HabCorp. And so as I'm getting more involved and helping, it really hits my heart that, so many veterans who are wonderful people are struggling. Are struggling for a lot of ways, and the hand holding, and Mike, I know you do that, and Joey, you're doing that. Any thoughts? How do we get to those, many of those, who are at home and by themselves? I was just talking to one guy in one of our programs who said, well, I don't really have any friends. It's just my family. What advice, Joey? What do you think? How can we as Americans do more to help our veterans?
Great question, Dale. And for all of us, I think there's 3 things that we could always give back: time, money, and resources, right? Mm-hmm. You could either dedicate your time and work with different programs. There's a lot of great organizations out there where you could do service projects, give calls to veterans, meet with veterans. You could give money, right? As in, we donate 5% to local nonprofits in the New Jersey area. So, seeing Mike on this panel, there's a reason why we see our successes, we get to the top, but then we turn around, we help our fellow man and woman. So I really love that. And, Mike, I'm glad to, I'm proud to be here with you. I'm glad chat together. But giving back is such a huge thing, because even us as veteran business owners, we have to be examples of our community. So whether it's, hey, we're doing good business, or we're donating back to our community, that's a big thing. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent there, but yeah, we talk about time, money, and then resources. Whether it's, hey, maybe you're a CPA and you want to help veterans out, do their taxes, or you're a realtor and you want to help veterans put a financial plan together to help buy houses or something like that. But I think there's three things that a lot of people do. So those three things are time, money, and people. And that's what our community, right? It takes a village. I think that's a big thing that we need to remember that. So to help veterans out, like even for us, we used to do a Smoking with Igama event where we sponsored the cigars. Another organization, they sponsor the food, and we meet at my private club. And veterans just come, and there's no set agenda. You just come, you hang out, you chill, you vibe out, and you just smoke, and you just tell the good stories. Because sometimes, COVID was definitely challenging for a lot of our brothers and sisters, but making that phone call, checking up on them, I think that's a great way. But that's your time. You don't have to give thousands, $10,000s of dollars. Dedicating your time to actually authentically reach out to somebody, I think is a huge thing. So once again, time, money, and resources is those three things that our fellow man, our fellow woman could do as an American to give back to a lot of our brothers and sisters. So hopefully that helps out there.
Well said. Very, very, very well said. And Mike, and your job placement program, and so what are some of the things you've learned? So what advice do you give? So we have some veterans online who may not be entrepreneurs, but are really looking for a job to kind of get out of this pandemic.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them?
Well, one of the advice that I see, a comment before I give some advice, is that over the last 6 years of doing this program called Ignite Your Future, the first letter, I, is for identifying your natural skills and abilities. And what I've seen, almost 80% of the candidates that come through my class do not know what they want to do, whether leaving the military or preparing to leave the military, retiring from the military. They're not sure what they want to do. So how do you know what the target is if you don't know what you want to be? So many of them fall into these different clear buckets of saying, well, I'll be a project manager, program manager. That's a wide career that you can take, performance, cost, and schedule, and run a project, whether it's people or whatever. But a lot of them don't know what to do. So I think if one piece of advice would be to get a good mentor. There's mentorship programs out there that can help you kind of focus in on what you want to do by finding out what other careers are out there in the civilian world. As an example, American Corporate Partners, they're out of New York, free service. They have over 100 different companies of big branded names of companies that from blue collar to white collar, where you can be matched for a whole year to meet somebody like Dale Caldwell and just build a relationship up. And they can introduce you to people within the company or other relationships that they have. There's another one called Veterali, another great one where you can do flyby mentoring, I call it, for an hour, just meet somebody who's in a specific career that you want to be in. But I think the key thing is to learn what you really want to be, because otherwise you're doing the shotgun approach. You're just going to take a wide net and say, well, I'll go in here, and then you're in the job for 6 months and you hate it. So I think if you can figure out that first step, identify your natural skills and abilities, and that could be taking career assessments or like I said, in mentoring, that would help.
Well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant advice. And so, and people care, and so often, so many folks don't know what to do and how to help. So it's just been a blessing working with you guys and just the veterans that we have. Now, one of the stories we were talking before the show, and so we have, and Sue and more, I think we've had about 26 different states in the program now, 3 different countries. One of our participants in the current class is in Iraq and is calling in from Iraq at some crazy hour because they want to be successful in entrepreneurship. And so it's, you really are, and I see in the chat, you two are incredibly inspirational. And so Joey, going back to you and going back to the lounges. So let's talk about what goes with a cigar. So what is your advice? I mean, is it cognac? Is it I have to say I'm a big rum guy. I like rum. I don't drink a whole lot, but when I do, I like rum because it's sweet. How do you match it up? Or tell me a little more about that.
No, I love that question, Dale. And I'm going to take it from, I grew up in Belleville, grew up with a lot of Italians, and their saying is, what's your favorite wine? And they go, whatever's in front of me. Right. So I'll take it from them. So I know the Italianos love their wine, but goes with a good cigar, chocolate goes very well. Coffee. I was just been here in Miami drinking some delicious Cuban coffee, really good. I know it's a little bit for the sweet tooth, by any type of coffee, but whatever's in front of it, I drink a lot. Well, right there, got a lot of Mike. Yeah, right there. I'm doing that little plug right there. But coffee goes excellent with a cigar. Now you talk about different drinks, your bourbons, your scotches, your whiskeys. Everyone's palate is different. Like for me, I'm a very big Scotch guy. So everyone's palate's different. But you know what? There's such a beautiful world of scotches, bourbons, cognacs, rums that you get to explore. And I'm very honored to be in this sort of industry where, like, yeah, I guess I have to taste that, that 18, 21 year Scotch or something like that. But, to each their own, if I'll share my information at the end if anyone wants any advice or any kind of like questions about that. I truly love offering our advice and experience, because the cigar and spirits and the fine food as well it's really awesome. So yeah, that's what goes with a good cigar. But if I might say, the only times you see me smoking is when I'm working or when I'm with good company. I'm one of those guys that I don't like smoking alone. So when I have good company, when I'm in the presence of good people, or I'm working an event, doing a wedding or doing like a birthday party, that's where you'll see me smoking, because I love taking it in. And I've had some incredible experiences with that and awesome conversations about smoke. I think there's something, having a cigar is something about civilized and just being, just taking in the moment. So that's how I would comment that.
So now, as far as the alcohol, now who's your supplier, or how do you have special deals with certain groups?
Yeah, I mean, usually when we go to weddings, there's about different. I do have whiskey ambassadors that we sent to school. So I have a couple of guys that are trained, that know their whiskeys and scotches, but it just depends on how we want to present it. There's different regions, just like wine. So I'm trying to break it down. There's wines have different regions, different states. Whiskeys are the same thing. You got your scotches in Scotland, then you got your American whiskeys, your bourbons, your international whiskeys like Japanese whiskeys. So I just partner with all of them. So anytime I'm asking a client or someone that would like to book us, everything's all curated, because we want to make sure that our experience goes with your. So I'm not gonna have something totally different. We want to make sure that we align ourselves with the party or with the event.
Oh, interesting. And the clients will pay they'll pay the extra cost for the cost of the liquor and so on from the venue, right? That's built into the price.
That's correct. That's correct. And then if we wanted to do something at their private event, we use it from our private stock. Right. So that's where we come in, and our whiskey ambassador will go over like 3 bottles. We have a couple of guys on our team that are Maker's Mark ambassadors. So if you want to do a private stock or 46 or the cast strength, you could have 3 of those bottles there. So, we could definitely listen, for people that enjoy cigars, good whiskey, good company. I mean, those are kind of like that recipe for a good time. So that's what we work with.
I see in the chat, somebody says they have a client that's a mobile barbershop. So it might be a great cross promotion. So that's a great idea.
Absolutely. Joe, if you would like to shoot me that contact, doing I'm going to take that Airstream, maybe do a groomsman, and then we'll do coffee, right? So when groomsmen grooms are often forgotten in the process. So we want to bring that back where, hey, listen, it's their wedding too, where they could sit down, have a nice coffee, a nice scotch, get a nice cut, put on that suit before they get in. Because more than often, a lot of grooms are just thrown into a room, and they're just like, all right, here you go. And then the bridal suite is like decked out to the nines. But we want to make sure that we take care of our fellow brothers as well. So but I would definitely love that contact.
Yeah. So Mike, the other thing about your coffee is that it's really, it has a reputation as being really good. On top of being great community, it's great for the community, but really good. How are you able to get such a good blend?
Our coffee, when it comes out, we're on a 3-week schedule. So it's roasted 3 weeks and it's in the store. So we keep just a small amount of coffee on hand because we're constantly going right from the roaster, maybe about 2 weeks of swing time, and then it's in the store. So it's fresh. It's fresh. And so we've learned how to do the coffee cupping and actually taste coffee to what you like. So we have a Colombian brand or blend, and then we also add it with other types of beans to make it palatable. Some say it tastes like a hint of chocolate and other kinds of notes. But I'm learning as I go with this as well because I'm not a coffee expert. So I'm working with companies who are the roasters who are, and so they're teaching me also how to like take a cup of coffee black and how to sip it so that you can get the flavor you want. I think the biggest feedback we've seen so far in testimonials from people who buy our coffee, it's not so much the Army Strong or the Semper Fi blend or the Aim High blend, Freedom blend. We have Semper Paratus. We have Anchors Away, Stars and Stripes. It's not so much that is they like the taste. There's no acid reflux. There's no aftertaste. It's not bitter. It's not burnt, and it's delicious. So people say, this is good coffee and it's reasonable in price. So ShopRite sells it for $6.99 for a bag of coffee. So very competitive to other roasters that are out there. And so we also are not going to go e-commerce right away because there's a cost associated to that that's higher. So you'll see coffee providers that are selling their coffee for $12, $13 a bag of coffee plus shipping. And we don't want to compete against our ShopRites and our food stores. So we're going to stay in the store market for a while. And I think that's for us is going to be better in the long-term solution. Maybe wholesale, e-commerce down the road. But we have a tremendous amount of testimonials of people liking it.
Wonderful. So Joey, I see in the chat and other people are asking about women. People who think, this smoking is just for men. But I know some women that are big cigar fans. And so, talk to me. That's a growing market, isn't it? The women's cigar market.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just commenting there. I know women smokers out there, they could smoke men under the bus, right? That know their leaves, that smoke Mobil, that really know. And it's just like, I think we learned from the military, right? Usually we see women and we're just like, oh, is your husband the veteran? And our women veterans, they're the actual veterans. Same thing in the cigar world. I never go up to a woman and say, hey, let me give you some flavored cigars, right? And nothing wrong with flavored cigars. Like I said, palates are different, but I never go up to a woman and say, hey, would you like a flavor? I don't give them, treat them that same respect. And if they say, hey, I've never smoked before, then I could tell them a little about it. But there's some incredible women out, especially in the New Jersey area, like my good friend Jennifer and some of her friends, that they just smoke some really awesome cigars that are very tasteful, very that full bodied, and there's some women who drink scotches and whiskeys and bourbons. And I think that's, it's not just a male dominant. I mean, it is a male dominant space, but there's women out there that will go there and they know a lot more than some of the men. So, shout out to them. And it's just the same thing like we talk about with women veterans who are there, who are, I don't know if I could say bad, whatever, if I get pinged for it, badasses that are out there, shout out to them, but this is why we do it. So yeah, definitely. So Joe, if you ever want to smoke or any of the women that want to try smoking, I have some incredible friends. We can set up a meeting together, have a nice smoke together. And if you don't like it, you don't like it, but it's something that you could try out, but who knows, you might actually enjoy it. But the experience it's really one of a kind because everything's all slower. You're not like doing like a cigarette, like it's quick. A cigar, you're taking 20, 30 minutes. So you want to really take your time and just really enjoy the moment.
And Joe, by the way, is leading our coaching program that we're going to start hopefully as soon as we get the final approval. So with that, so now what I want to do is ask both of you, okay, this has been great. You're doing well. What was Mike? So what's been the biggest challenge as you go to this Bridging the Gap coffee? What would you say was the biggest challenge that you faced?
The biggest challenge that I faced during this last year was access to the executive suite of the ownership of these stores to get before them to give them the pitch, my value proposition, because I had to go through a lot of gatekeepers and a lot of relationships I had to build up. I used LinkedIn to the max as much as possible, but I also used other personal relationships that I had to leverage to make a phone call. I'll give you one example. It took me close to 7 months to get into Saker ShopRites, and we just got approval. And so I went through the deputy mayor of Freehold Township here in Monmouth County to get to the owner, because they've been busy building these big, beautiful stores now, and they're so preoccupied. And so I'm just a little, small little potato. But so to get to talk to the owner it was hard to do. So as Joey mentioned before, we go, as a veteran, we know how to go around, over, through, underneath that wall to get to the mission. Whatever that mission is, we're going to be successful. We're going to make it happen. And so I was able to figure out ways, and whether it's going through the deputy mayor or through someone else that I had, to get to these people. So for me, the challenge was access.
Excellent. Well, that's and Mike, is just amazing at really connecting with these companies, because one of your secrets of success for the Bridging the Gap job training is you have the employers right there. They're going
Correct.
through the program and watching and seeing how people, and that's hard to do. So Joey, I know there've been a number of hurdles, and so what's been the kind of one of the biggest challenges you've had in getting to this point?
As of right now, I'm looking for people. I'm looking to hire. I'm actually turning down business because we don't have enough people. When I was down in Kentucky, we did about 18 events on one weekend, and I was not even in the state. And so we have a lot of people that, while COVID and things are lightening up, people are getting vaccinated, knock on wood, everything's going well. Parties and events and weddings are happening. People want to get married. They want to get to their loved ones in a safe and possible manner. So just exactly what Mike said. I'm up to the challenge. For me, I have challenges every day, right? As an entrepreneur, you got to wake up, you got to do what you need to do. You gotta put the fire out. You got to make sure that you get that mission going. But something that I'll always remember through my military training is mission first, people always. Because shout out to my team, shout out to my partners, and most importantly, our family and our supporters, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I think that's incredibly important. But the challenge is just waking up and just, let's go, let's do it, and I think having that mentality and that go-to attitude, something that we've learned in the military, that's what makes us successful. And so people like Mike, myself, and people who are listening in, just really digging deep and just building into it. So that's what I would say.
Excellent. So now we're hearing that we're not showing on the screen, or I'm not sure if that's. So one of the things I need to say to that is, what better job than working for you doing parties? I mean, that I would think that would be the last thing. I think you'd have a line around the block. So why is it so hard to find? I may come to work for you. Come on, this sounds fantastic. Weddings, hanging out. I actually am a single guy, so that's like dream come true. So, So why is it so hard?
So this is my second year going into the wedding industry. I did 0 weddings in 2018. 2019, I did 16 weddings. 2020, I did 60 weddings, and we have over 250 weddings for this year. So to be quite honest with you, Dale, and just being very transparent, I was not ready for this, right? So I should have, right? If, hindsight, I should have been training people during January, February. I thought planning season was going to be January, February, and then wedding season happens here. I am booking probably close to 60 to 80 events every month continuously.
Amazing.
January. Yeah. So, we started off this year with 131 events this year, and now we're at 360. So, and it's still going. Like, I'm getting emails left and right, getting phone calls like, hey, can you do this? So I was not ready for it, but you know what? I got to do it. I got to perform. So our team, we're training 3 new team members right now. We're currently looking. So Dale, Mike, if you want to smoke, it's a great time. People are very good. And plus, when you go to a wedding, I'm usually there when there's good vibes already, right? The drinks are flowing. You don't get that stressful. We like to be the easiest wedding professional to work with. So it's pretty good. But yeah, we are looking for a few good men and women, as they say in the Marine Corps. But yeah, we are expanding.
So one of the things, Ali, and then we'll get back to Mike, but as my consulting background would say, well, now what about raising prices? So if you have that much demand, should you raise prices, to do that? So just say a little bit about that, and we'll go back to Mike. But it sounds like you may be able to do that, and maybe you lose a few gigs, but that won't hurt.
Yeah. So while going through this, and Mike was touching upon it about finding that mentor, right? I had a couple of business mentors and coaches. I changed, whatever. This is for business owners, right? I changed my prices 3 times in January. And they were just like, nope, bring it up. Because I'm like, right, I'm my background, I'm an 0311. I'm a grunt in the Marine Corps. That's as simple as it gets, right? The knuckle draggers of the Marine Corps. But, when I got my coaches, what Mike exactly saying, I mean, you could go to a destination so much quicker with a coach. And these coaches were just like, raise your price. And then when I raised it like the 3rd time, I was like getting nervous. I'm like, hey, Dale, like I raised it like twice already. And he goes, well, your clients don't know that. I'm like, you are right. And so that's but that opened my mind. And the last thing is, and we'll give my bad, Mike, is I had a client. This really, see, a lot of things this year really like changed my mindset. This lady called in and she goes, I was talking, she wants to do it for her daughter's wedding. And she goes, hey, listen, I just talked to somebody. They're a couple $100 cheaper than you, but I want the best. And that like really changed my mindset. And, people have asked me, why are people hiring you to go to Las Vegas, to go to Florida? And my response is, well, they want the best. And that's how we are, because what we create, what we do as professionals and our team members, we want to create the best cigar experience at your wedding, at your birthday, at your retirement, at your holiday party. So those 2 things that this year, and it was all because of coaches and mentors. And I can't stress that enough, because that's such great advice, Mike. Having coaches, having mentors. I've always had someone in my life telling me, hey, listen, that's not good enough. You got to do better. And I think having that grit, having that resiliency, going through boot camp, we have such, your NCO, and Mike's probably in all different levels of leadership during his career as a quote unquote, as command sergeant major. You get different levels of leadership, but then it's always there. You're always building on it. So I'll end with that. But yeah, that's how we do it. Having that coach and having that mentor.
Excellent. And then Mike, is that one of the things that I do remember from my business school a long time ago was something called a Giffen good. And a Giffen good is that rare product that the more it costs, the more people want it. And so like you don't want $1,000 Rolls Royce, you want, so you may, Joey, your product may be a Giffen good. The higher it is, the more people want it. And so that's something we'll talk some off life. So Mike, we'll finish with you. So pricing wise and so on, you're growing, how do you feel about your prices, or how do you price the product?
So interesting enough, I know costs are going up for manufacturing and such. Just look at when you go to a food store today, you go to the deli counter or wherever you look at bread or whatever, everything's going up. From transportation, gas is going up. So I'm expecting costs to go up. My roaster right now, one of my roasters is talking about a 10 to 15 cents per pound increase. So now I got to deal with that. So now do I make the decision? Do I add that to my stores, or do I eat that and figure out a way to reduce costs in other areas? So I'm wrestling with all this, so to figure it out. But we are very competitive. $6.99 for a pound or 12-ounce bag of coffee, and we sell K-cups as well. Different sizes. We have 12 K-cup boxes coming out now. We have a 24 one that's going for about $12.99, sometimes as high as $14.99. But my margin is still about 28% back to the company. Okay. So I'm still doing okay. Yeah, still doing okay.
Yeah. Well, no, obviously, both of your products are quality, they're unique, and they're heavily in demand.
Yeah.
So finally, did you share the websites? Because people are going to want to get in touch with the two of you. So if you could have your you shared it on the link?
So ours is bridgingthegap.vet. You'll be able to go on that page. You'll see the coffee platoon, and you'll see where we're actually selling our coffee as well. We have a new website coming out on Flag Day, Army's birthday, June 14th. 2 new websites will be coming out for that. But on that website, you can reach me as well, and I can share in in the text here for those who want to reach me directly.
Excellent. And Joey, say it for those. Some people don't go in the chat. So what's your website? Oh, you're on mute.
Got it. There we go. Our website is www.themobilcigarlounge.com. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Mobil Cigar Lounge. And for those of you that could see on our website, we have something what's called the Ultimate Gift. Beautiful and delicious Nicaraguan cigars. Use the keyword Panda Love, and you get $5 off for anyone that's watching here in this chat. So the Ultimate Gift, Panda Love, $5 off for anyone who's in this chat.
Excellent. Well, we always like to finish on time, be sensitive. It's 1 o'clock now. Thank you both, Joey and Mike. This is phenomenal. You are just such role models, not just as veterans, but for any entrepreneur. And so I learned a lot, and I hope the audience did as well. So take care. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you at our next Entrepreneur Friday show. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.